I'm about to tell something that could save a life, and it has to do with that first cup of coffee in the morning that so many seniors love. I'm Dr. Claire Whitmore, and after 2 decades as a cardiologist, I've treated thousands of hearts damaged by diabetes, prediabetes, and blood sugar swings, often in seniors who were told their black morning coffee was free and had no effect on blood sugar. By the end of this video, seniors will know 3 things very clearly. First, whether plain coffee without sugar can still spike blood sugar in the morning. Second, why the timing of that first cup matters just as much as what goes into it. Third, a step-by-step protocol any senior can use to test how coffee affects individual blood sugar and how to drink it more safely. But that answer is not coming yet, because if it arrives in the first minute, many seniors will think, okay, coffee is fine, or coffee is bad, write down a rule and click away. That sort of black and white thinking is exactly how heart attacks, strokes, and amputations happen in seniors with silent sugar damage. A real story is coming about a 72-year-old named Harold, whose perfect morning routine, wake up, test fasting sugar, then drink strong black coffee, slowly pushed his blood sugar into the danger zone while every doctor visit looked okay. Before getting there, seniors can head to the comments and write 3 facts. Age, most recent fasting blood sugar, if known, most recent A1C, if known, something simple like 74, fasting 132, A1C 7.1, or 69, don't know numbers. That real-world snapshot matters. Harold was 72 years old, a retired electrician living with his wife in a small ranch house. He walked the dog, did light yard work, and prided himself on staying sharp. On paper, Harold looked like many seniors. Blood pressure around 138/82. Weight, 196 pounds at 5'9". Medications, a blood pressure pill, a statin, and metformin, 500 milligrams twice a day. Last A1C, 6.8%. Not perfect, not terrible, in that grey zone for type 2 diabetes. Every morning, Harold had a routine. Wake at 6:30, check fasting blood sugar, then brew a strong 14-ounce mug of black coffee. No sugar, no cream. Someone had told him years ago black coffee doesn't count. It's basically water. His typical fasting reading was between 118 and 126 milligram DL. A little high, but not terrifying. At a checkup in January, Harold's doctor glanced at the labs. Fasting 123, A1C 6.8. For a 72-year-old, that's acceptable, the doctor said. Keep taking metformin, watch carbs, and keep walking. Seniors with numbers like these are doing fine. Harold nodded. At least coffee is okay, right? Just black. The doctor smiled. Black coffee is fine. No sugar, no problem. Harold heard that as a green light, so his routine hardened into habit. Over the next 2 months, he stayed consistent. Wake at 6:30. Test fasting sugar, usually 120-128 milligrams DL. Brew coffee, dark roast, very strong. Sip it over 30-40 minutes. Eat nothing until about 9 a.m. Then something new happened. Harold's daughter, a nurse, visited and brought her own glucose meter. "Dad, let's experiment," she said. "Test fasting, then test again after that coffee." They did it. Fasting at 6:30, 124 milligrams DL. After finishing black coffee, no food, at 7:30, 164 milligrams DL. Harold frowned. That can't be from just coffee. There's no sugar in it. His daughter said quietly, "Caffeine can raise sugar, especially in seniors with diabetes." At the next visit, Harold mentioned this to his doctor. The meter showed 124 before coffee, 164 after, he said. "Just from black coffee." The doctor shrugged. Meters can be off. Black coffee generally doesn't matter for sugars. As long as A1C stays under 7, seniors are fine. Harold trusted that. An A1C of 6.8 looked close to target. Over the next 6 months, subtle changes crept in. He noticed shakiness and irritability late in the morning, around 10:30 or 11 o'clock. He began grabbing a muffin or granola bar to feel better. Afternoons brought crashes, sleepiness so strong he napped in his chair, something he had never done in his 60s. He told his doctor, "I feel wiped out after lunch and kind of jittery mid-morning." The doctor checked an in-office finger stick, 142 milligrams DL 2 hours after breakfast. "Could be better, but not terrible," the doctor said. "Seniors have ups and downs. Just cut back on white bread and sweets." Harold brought up the coffee again. "Does that morning coffee really affect this?" he asked. The doctor replied, "Coffee isn't the problem. The carbs are. Black coffee is basically free. Harold accepted that. It fit what he had always heard. If no sugar is added, coffee is harmless. Over the next 3 months, his wife noticed he went to the bathroom more at night. He complained of thirst and woke with a dry mouth. He bought sugar-free candies, thinking they were safer. At his next lab check, fasting sugar was 139 milligrams LDL, and A1C had crept up to 7.5%. Not ideal, but not a disaster, the doctor said. Let's increase metformin to 1,000 milligrams twice a day. No one asked how his day actually started. No one looked at the pattern of coffee, fasting and spikes. The crisis hit on a Sunday afternoon. Harold and his wife had gone to their granddaughter's birthday party at a local park. He felt a little more tired than usual, but blamed the heat. That morning had been typical. Fasting sugar at 6:30, 132 milligrams DL. Big mug of black coffee, finished by 7:15. No breakfast until 9 o'clock. 2 slices of toast and some jam. He felt a bit wired mid-morning, but pushed through. At the party, he had a small slice of cake and half a cup of punch. Around 2:30 p.m., sitting at the picnic table, Harold suddenly felt a heavy pressure in the center of his chest. Not sharp, but like an elephant had sat down on him. He tried to shift position. It didn't help. The pressure spread to his left arm and up into his jaw. A cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His wife saw his face. "Harold, are seniors okay?" she asked. He could barely answer. "Just tired," he mumbled. His daughter, the nurse, saw his expression and the way he held his chest. "Dad, this looks like a heart attack." "We're calling 911, she said firmly. Paramedics arrived at 2:47 p.m. His blood pressure was 162/94, heart rate 104. A quick finger stick, 283 milligrams DL. One paramedic muttered, "These sugars are way up there." An EKG showed clear signs of an acute heart attack. In the ambulance, Harold drifted in and out of awareness. He heard fragments: long-standing diabetes damage, likely coronary artery disease, high sugars add fuel to the fire. At the hospital, an emergency angiogram showed a critical blockage in a major coronary artery. A stent was placed, but the heart muscle had already been injured. Harold survived, but life changed dramatically. In the ICU, the broader picture appeared: A1C 8.2%. Fasting sugars often in the 150s, 170s, spikes after meals and coffee into the 200s. A diabetes specialist sat with Harold and his wife. "Harold, those morning coffee spikes and daytime swings have been damaging arteries for years," she said gently. "Black coffee is not always free, especially first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, in seniors with diabetes." He stared at her. "But I asked. I was told it was fine." Rehabilitation began, but fatigue was overwhelming. Harold could no longer mow the lawn or walk the dog without stopping. He struggled with depression, feeling betrayed by a system that had called his habits okay. Over the next year, complications piled up: early kidney damage, protein leaking into the urine, numbness and burning in his feet, diabetic neuropathy, a small foot ulcer that took 12 weeks to heal. His independence shrank. Driving became difficult. Long trips were out of the question. Harold did not die immediately, but his world became smaller and more medical. Appointments, lab draws, pill boxes, foot checks, and in the background the phrase "black coffee is free" echoed. Here's the tragic part. This was not just bad luck or getting old. Several simple steps might have changed the story. Checking sugar before and after that morning coffee. Moving coffee to after a small breakfast instead of on an empty stomach. Switching to decaf or half calf once spikes were discovered. Treating caffeine's effect on blood sugar as real, not imaginary. The heart attack was built over years by small daily choices, one of the biggest being that seemingly harmless cup of coffee on an empty stomach. In a few minutes, the science behind why coffee can spike blood sugar in many seniors will be broken down, when it is less risky, and how to build a safer coffee routine without giving up that morning pleasure entirely. Before getting into the physiology, it is worth a quick self-check. Any senior who notices any of the following within 1 to 3 hours of morning coffee, especially on an empty stomach, can write the word coffee in the comments. Shakiness or feeling on empty stomach, can write the word coffee in the comments. Shakiness or feeling on empty stomach, edge, racing heart or palpitations, sudden hunger or intense carb cravings, sweating, jitters or unusual anxiety, a crash of fatigue a few hours later. Those are classic signs of blood sugar and adrenaline swings, not just getting older. It also helps to write 3 things in the comments. age, diabetes status, no diabetes, pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. Coffee habit, none, 1 cup, 2-3 cups, or all day. Something like 76, type 2 diabetes, 2 cups, or 68, no diabetes, 1 cup. Now, why does coffee hit seniors so differently? The truth about coffee and blood sugar is more complicated than the usual advice. Long-term, many large studies suggest that coffee, especially unsweetened coffee, is associated with a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. That is one reason coffee often gets labeled as good. But short-term, especially first thing in the morning, caffeine can raise blood sugar and worsen insulin sensitivity, particularly in adults who already have diabetes or pre-diabetes. The old line, "Black coffee is free, only sugar and cream matter," comes mostly from nutrition advice built around younger, healthier adults, and from focusing on calories, not on hormonal and sugar effects. For seniors, especially those with diabetes, pre-diabetes, heart disease, or kidney issues, that advice can be dangerously oversimplified. Think of caffeine as a chemical alarm clock. Caffeine blocks a chemical in the brain called adenosine, which normally promotes relaxation and sleepiness. When adenosine is blocked, the nervous system becomes more alert. In response, the body releases stress hormones, adrenaline, also called epinephrine, noradrenaline, and often more cortisol, the main stress hormone. Those hormones tell the liver, send out more sugar. The body needs fuel. The liver then releases stored glucose into the bloodstream. At the same time, caffeine makes the body's cells a bit less responsive to insulin. That is called reduced insulin sensitivity. In a healthy 25-year-old, the pancreas easily compensates. It pumps out more insulin, mops up the extra sugar, and numbers stay normal. In seniors, several age-related changes make that much harder. First, the insulin response is weaker. After decades of work, many pancreases in older adults cannot surge insulin as effectively. The insulin-producing beta cells are fewer and more tired. When caffeine tells the liver to dump sugar, the insulin response is sluggish. Second, insulin resistance is greater. Many seniors, especially those with extra weight around the waist, already have insulin resistance, cells that ignore insulin's signal. Caffeine worsens that resistance for several hours. Some studies have shown that a single dose of caffeine can reduce insulin sensitivity by 15–30% in adults with type 2 diabetes. Third, caffeine metabolism is slower. With age, the liver and kidneys clear caffeine more slowly. That means caffeine and its effects last longer in seniors, sometimes 6–10 hours or more. A strong morning coffee can influence blood sugar well into lunchtime. Fourth, baseline stress hormone levels are often higher. Poor sleep, chronic stress, pain, and certain medications leave many seniors with elevated cortisol even before the first sip. Adding caffeine on top amplifies that stress signal, leading to bigger sugar releases from the liver. Put all of this together and a pattern appears. Fasting sugar is slightly high. Coffee on an empty stomach adds a stress signal and a liver sugar dump. Blood sugar spikes 20–30, even 50 points. The pancreas struggles to catch up. Crashing cravings follow, leading to more carbs, more sugar swings, and more damage over time. Research backs this up. A well-known diabetes care study in adults with type 2 diabetes found that consuming caffeine before a meal caused significantly higher post-meal blood sugars, even when the meal itself did not change. Another trial showed that adding caffeine equivalent to about 2 cups of coffee reduced insulin sensitivity by around 15% in individuals with type 2 diabetes compared with decaf. On the other hand, large observational studies published in JAMA and the New England Journal of Medicine have shown that adults who drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee daily over many years often have a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes and some cardiovascular events. How can both be true? Short-term spikes and long-term patterns are not the same thing. Short-term, caffeine raises sugar and worsens insulin action for several hours, especially in seniors with existing diabetes or pre-diabetes. Long-term, compounds in coffee such as chlorogenic acids may improve metabolism, reduce liver fat, and provide antioxidant effects which could lower risk over years. There are 2 catches though. First, those long-term benefits mostly show up with unsweetened or lightly sweetened coffee, not with sugary coffee drinks loaded with syrups and creamers. Second, seniors with already damaged arteries cannot afford repeated large sugar spikes every morning, even if long-term coffee drinkers on average do a bit better. For decades, clinicians reassured older adults with diabetes, black coffee is fine. As long as there are no calories, it doesn't affect sugar. Evidence now shows that for many seniors, that belief is incomplete, and in some cases, flat out wrong. Studies have shown that many adults with type 2 diabetes have 20–40 milligrams DL higher glucose after morning caffeinated coffee compared with decaf or water. Some see even bigger jumps. Moving coffee to after a meal or switching part or all of it to decaf can significantly reduce those spikes. Long-term coffee drinking may well have protective effects, but that does not cancel out the damage from daily, repeated morning spikes in seniors whose blood vessels and nerves are already vulnerable. The goal is not to ban coffee for every senior. The goal is to tame it. Right timing, right form, right amount, and proper testing. Now for a concrete, step-by-step protocol. Many seniors are asking, so is coffee good or bad? Should it be stopped or not? That question deserves better than a simple yes or no. The key rule is this. For many older adults, especially with diabetes or pre-diabetes, coffee is safest when it is not the first thing into an empty stomach, when it is not loaded with sugar or flavored creamers, and when it is limited to about 1 to 2 cups of mostly unsweetened, ideally partly decaf coffee, consumed with or after food. For seniors with excellent sugar control and no spikes on testing, black coffee may be reasonably safe, but still deserves periodic retesting as age and health change. So the real rule is test it, tame it, then decide. Take 3 short examples. Patricia, 70, with prediabetes A1C 6.0%. 1 cup of black coffee on an empty stomach raised her sugar from 102 to 128 milligrams DL, a 26-point jump. With a small breakfast first, the rise was only 10 points. For her, coffee with food and no sugar was acceptable. George, 78, with type 2 diabetes and neuropathy. 1 large mug of strong coffee on an empty stomach raised his sugar from 136 to 194 milligrams DL in 1 hour, a 58-point spike. Switching to half calf after a protein-rich breakfast cut, that spiked to 15 points. Susan, 66, active, no diabetes. Coffee barely budged her sugar, from 92 to 98 milligrams DL. In her case, the main concern was blood pressure and palpitations, not sugar. Same drink, different bodies, different rules. Here is a simple protocol seniors can use. Step 1, establish a baseline. For those with a home glucose meter, pick 3 to 4 quiet mornings in 1 week. No illness, no unusual stress. On those mornings, before any food, drink or coffee, check blood sugar immediately after waking. Write down those readings. That shows the true starting line. Step 2, perform a coffee challenge test. On different mornings in that same week, run a small experiment. On one morning, follow the current routine. Wake up, check fasting sugar, drink the usual coffee exactly as normally taken size, strength, sugar or not, and eat no food. Then check sugar again at 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and 90 minutes. Write down every number. On another morning, eat a small balanced breakfast first, something with protein and a bit of healthy fat such as eggs and a slice of whole grain toast or Greek yogurt with nuts. Then drink the same coffee with or just after that meal. Check sugar at 60 and 120 minutes after starting breakfast. On a third morning, repeat one of those patterns but switch to decaf or half calf. Measure sugars the same way. This is not a perfect scientific study, but it is far better than guessing. Step 3, interpret the numbers. For most seniors with diabetes, a rise of 10–20 milligrams DL after coffee is usually small. A rise of 20–40 milligrams DL is moderate and deserves attention. A rise of 40 milligrams/DL or more from coffee alone, especially starting from an already high fasting level, is a red flag. Fasting 125 nor 132 after coffee, small impact. Fasting 130 to 172 after coffee, large spike. Fasting 145 nor 120.05 after coffee, dangerous territory. Any senior who has already tried a similar experiment can write in the comments something like, black coffee raises mine 30 points, or no change with decaf, along with age and diabetes status. Step 4, adjust timing. When significant spikes appear with coffee on an empty stomach, the first change is usually timing, not immediate elimination. Safer patterns include a small breakfast first, then coffee. A bit of protein and healthy fat can blunt the sugar dump from caffeine, or splitting the coffee, half the mug before food, half with or after breakfast, to reduce any one big surge. Many seniors find that simply moving coffee to after breakfast reduces spikes by 10–30 points. Step 5, adjust type and amount. If timing alone does not reduce spikes enough, then reduce total caffeine by switching to half regular, half decaf, or by limiting to 1 regular cup in the morning. Watch additives carefully. Sugar, flavored creamers and syrups can turn a 5-calorie coffee into a 300-calorie sugar bomb. Swapping to unsweetened or very low sugar options with just a splash of milk or cream protects both sugar and weight. Try decaf for part of the intake. Some seniors alternate one small regular coffee with breakfast, one decaf later if desired. Decaf still contains some caffeine but much less than regular. Step 6. Retest and share with the medical team. After changing timing and type, repeat the coffee challenge over another week. Compare the new spikes with the old ones. Bring those numbers to the next appointment. Instead of the vague, "Coffee is probably fine," the discussion can sound like this. On black coffee before food, sugar went from 135 to 190. With half calf after eggs and toast, it went from 118 to 135. That kind of data allows medication, meal timing and coffee habits to be adjusted intelligently. Step 7. Remember the bigger picture. Coffee is one piece of blood sugar control. Seniors can also work with clinicians on an A1C target appropriate for age and health, often around 7.5% for many older adults, sometimes lower for healthier seniors. Pay attention to evening carbohydrates, since late-night snacks often raise morning fasting more than coffee does. Prioritize sleep, because poor sleep raises cortisol and makes caffeine-related sugar swings worse. Pair coffee with gentle movement, such as a short walk after breakfast, to help muscles soak up some of that sugar. A few common questions come up. Does every senior with diabetes need to cut out coffee completely? Not necessarily. Many can still enjoy 1 to 2 cups per day, especially if timed with food, partly decaf and not loaded with sugar. The key is testing the actual response and adjusting. Is tea safer than coffee? Tea usually has less caffeine and often causes smaller sugar and adrenaline swings. But very strong black tea can still have clear effects, especially if sweetened. Green tea tends to have less caffeine and may be gentler for some seniors. Can caffeine-free herbal tea be treated as free? Most unsweetened herbal teas have no significant effect on blood sugar. Labels should always be checked though, because some herbal drinks contain added sugars and certain herbs may interact with medications. What about fasting blood tests? Can coffee be used then? For most fasting lab work, nothing but water beforehand is safest. Even black coffee can raise cortisol and sugar, altering results. The specific instructions on lab orders should always be followed. If sugar is high, can an extra diabetes pill be taken after coffee? No. Medication doses should never be changed without medical guidance. Adding extra pills based on a single reading can cause dangerous lows later in the day. Recurring patterns should always be discussed with a clinician first. Let's return to a more hopeful story. Susan was 69, a retired school secretary with type 2 diabetes for 8 years. Her A1C hovered between 7.8 and 8.0%. Despite metformin and a second medication, she adored coffee. Her routine went like this: first cup of strong coffee at 6 a.m. black, second cup at 8 a.m. with sweet vanilla creamer, small breakfast of toast or cereal around 9 a.m. Finger stick before lunch, usually around 180-200 milligrams DL. Her doctor focused mainly on adjusting medications. One day, Susan's grandson helped set up a continuous glucose monitor for a 2-week trial. The family decided to watch what happened around coffee time. The pattern was striking. Fasting at 5:45 a.m., 132 mg DL. After first black coffee at 6:45 a.m., 168 mg DL. After second coffee with creamer and no real food at 8:30 a.m., 210-220 mg DL, then a crash back into the 120s around 11 a.m. with intense hunger. Lunch pushed sugars right back into the 200s. Her doctor reviewed the CGM graph. Medication alone cannot fix this, the doctor said. Those morning coffee spikes are huge. Together they created a coffee plan. Protein first, a small breakfast at 6:15 a.m., 1 boiled egg, and half a slice of whole grain toast. Half calf, switch the 6 a.m. coffee to half regular, half decaf, still black. Timing: drink coffee with breakfast, not before. Change additives, replace sweet vanilla creamer in the second cup with a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Limit: cap intake at 2 modest cups, finished by 9 a.m. 2 months later, they repeated continuous glucose monitoring. The new pattern: fasting around 120-125 mg DL. After breakfast plus half calf coffee, 135 to 145 mg DL. No second peek into the 200s, a smoother curve through the morning. 3 months after changing coffee habits with no major medication increase, Susan's A1C fell from 7.9% to 7.0%. 6 months later, it was 6.8%. She reported fewer morning jitters, less afternoon crashing fatigue, and modest weight loss, about 6 pounds, likely from eliminating sugary creamer and curbing snack cravings. At 71, Susan still drinks coffee every morning, but now it is tamed coffee, half calf with breakfast without sugar bombs. No miracle drug, just understanding what coffee was doing to blood sugar and protecting heart and brain from those hidden spikes. Harold's story and Susan's story are two sides of the same coin. One followed old myths, the other applied measurement and adjustment. Harold's routine looked so innocent. Test fasting sugar, drink black coffee, eat later. Doctor said, black coffee is fine, yet those daily morning spikes layered on years of borderline sugars helped set the stage for that heart attack and all the complications that followed. The tragedy is not only that Harold had diabetes, the tragedy is that critical information about coffee, caffeine, and morning blood sugar was missing from his care. Seniors watching this now have what Harold never received: an understanding that coffee can spike blood sugar even without sugar or cream, especially on an empty stomach. Knowledge that older bodies metabolize caffeine differently, with slower clearance and more pronounced effects on insulin and stress hormones. A simple coffee challenge test to see exactly how an individual body responds. Concrete strategies to tame coffee timing, type, and amount, so enjoyable rituals can continue while protecting heart, brain, kidneys, and nerves. This is not about guilt. It is about informed choice. Coffee can still be part of life, but now it can be part of a safer plan, not a hidden saboteur. This information only matters if it leads to action. Seniors can plan a 1-week coffee experiment with a glucose meter. Write down fasting and post-coffee numbers. Bring that log to the next appointment and say, here is what coffee does in this body. How can the routine be adjusted? Consider decaf or half-calf, breakfast before coffee, and cutting out sugary creamers. Silent sugar spikes are just as dangerous as silent high blood pressure. Both erode health every day they go unchecked. Before this video ends, 2 requests. First, subscribing to this channel will bring more clear senior-focused explanations about heart health, diabetes, blood pressure, medications, and everyday habits like salt, sleep, and exercise. Second, sharing this video can make a difference. Think about spouses, friends at church, neighbors in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, sipping coffee every morning with diabetes or pre-diabetes, never having checked what it does to blood sugar. This could change a life. In the comments, one last prompt can help focus thinking. Spiking: if coffee on an empty stomach raises sugar more than 30 points. Tamed: if coffee with food or decaf keeps rises under about 20 points. Testing soon: if a coffee experiment is planned after hearing this. Those 3 words can mark the start of a new, safer relationship with that beloved morning mug. Disclaimer: the content in this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a physician regarding any medical condition. Never change any medication dosage without consulting a doctor.